Tristan da Cunha, one of the most isolated islands on Earth. It is so tiny and difficult to locate on the vast ocean. But thanks to the coordinate system of latitude and longitude, we could tell the precise location of any place on the Earth. In today's video, let's try to understand the latitude and longitude coordinate system, how it helps us to determine place, climate zones, and times in different parts of the world. Envision our Earth as a three-dimensional ball, and latitudes are imaginary lines carved on it that it runs from west to east parallel to the longest latitude known as the equator. And the equator divides the Earth into northern and southern hemispheres. Latitude measures the distance in degrees starting with the equator at 0 degree that go up in numbers from 1 to 90 degrees all the way to the North Pole. On the other hand, the latitudes on the south side of the equator are marked in negative numbers until they reach the South Pole, which is numbered as minus 90 degrees. Now let's look into the other imaginary lines we call longitude that starts from the North Pole and moves apart at the equator just to meet again on the South Pole. The line passing at the center is called the prime meridian, which divides the Earth into western and eastern hemispheres. Just like the equator, it is also marked at 0 degrees, which goes up in numbers 180 towards the east, whereas to the west, it is denoted with negative numbers up to minus 180 degrees. Did you know there are 180 latitudes in total and 360 longitudes around the Earth? Now, most important question is, how do these vertical and horizontal lines help us locate a place on the map? Well, the latitude and longitude position of any location in the world is known as its coordinates. Here, the latitude is shown first, followed by the longitude. So, if you have been asked to find a place with the coordinates of 37.10 degrees south and 12.27 degree west, then just look at the latitude at 37.10 degrees and longitude of 12.27 degrees and examine where this line cross to determine the exact place, which is in this case is Tristan da Cunha. Now, how does this help to define climatic zones? Along with the equator, the other important latitudes are the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn, the Arctic Circle, and the Antarctic Circle, which help us to define different climate zones of the world based on the amount of sunlight a region receives throughout the year. The region between the tropical lines gets the most sunlight and is known as the tropical zone, where the climate is generally warm and humid along with the heavy rainfall in most places. On the other hand, the region between the tropics and polar circles is called the temperate zone, which has all four seasons in it. And lastly, we have regions beyond polar circles known as the polar zone, where the climate is coolest and snowy due to lack of sunlight. How does longitude help us determine time? We know that when it's night in one hemisphere, it's daytime on the other part, and vice versa. The 0 degree longitude that passes through Greenwich near London is considered a standard, and all the time of other zones are calculated accordingly. Let us understand how. To know the time difference between two places, all you need to do is count the number of longitude degrees between them, and every degree is a 4-minute difference. So if it is 10 in the morning in Greenwich, which is at 0 degrees, then it will be 10:04 am at 1 degree meridian, and so on. GPS, known as the Global Positioning System, utilizes the same coordinate system to measure the location of any place or person on Earth. GPS, used to measure the location based data, is an important part of geographic information technology, which includes Geographic Information System (GIS).